Good morning, class 12 students. I would like to welcome all of you in the digital class session of biology. Now, today I am going to start a new chapter that is included in your higher secondary syllabus. The name of the chapter is Health and Diseases. So, please make sure that you are paying attention in class in order to get the concepts absolutely clear. So, let's start with today's discussion. So, as I told you, the name of the chapter is Health and Diseases. So, first, obviously, you need to know what is health. You need to be very much aware about the term called health. The World Health Organization has defined health as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well being and not merely an absence of a disease. Thus, health has three dimensions: physical, mental, and social. Now, physical, it is related with perfect functioning of all organs and systems of the body. Mental, it has been related to the state of equilibrium and harmony between a person and his surrounding environment, free from anxieties. And social has been related to mutual understanding between family members, neighbors, and friends, and a feel good factor with total security. So, now you need to know about the term called disease. The term disease literally means disease that is without ease. Dis-ease. So the meaning of the term is dis-ease. That means without ease, or a simple term for this is uneasiness or a feeling of being uncomfortable. It can thus be defined as the malfunctioning of body with specific symptoms due to a number of factors leading to impairment of the health of that individual. Now, there are two broad categories of disease: congenital and acquired. Congenital disease, these are present right from birth, contributed by gene mutation, chromosomal aberration, and environmental factors like color blindness, Down syndrome. Okay, and acquired is the disease which are being contracted after birth: infection, degeneration, dirt addiction, depression, cancer, etc. Acquired diseases are of two types: communicable and non-communicable. Communicable or infectious disease are caused by different disease-producing agents and can spread from individual to individual. As they develop only after birth, hence they are referred to as acquired disease, for example, measles, influenza, chickenpox, etc. And non-communicable disease remain confined to the diseased person and do not spread or infect others by contact or carriers. For the same reason, they are also being referred to as acquired disease, for example, diabetes, arthritis, cancer, etc. Diseases are also classified on the basis of their occurrence, which are as follows: like endemic, also known as localized disease, when disease occur only in certain localized area affecting only a few person, are called endemic disease. For example, goiter, which is found in sub-Himalayan region of India. Then comes your epidemic. A disease is said to be epidemic when it breaks out and spreads rapidly from place to place, affecting a large number of people. For example, plague assumed epidemic form in India, Surat, in 1997, killing several people. Pandemic, a disease is called pandemic when it spreads worldwide. For example, AIDS is a pandemic disease. Now, only AIDS, it's not a pandemic disease. Even COVID-19 means your corona. This is also the coronavirus, which is responsible for causing the COVID. So this is also a pandemic disease, and you are all very much aware about the pandemic situation right now. Sporadic, when a disease occurs in scattered areas, occasionally and individually. Now, non-communicable disease. Non-communicable disease are also of different types, like degenerative disease. These are the diseases of old age caused due to the gradual decline in the functioning of body organs like heart, lungs, arteries, joints, etc. Arthritis, gout, atherosclerosis, etc. are this type of diseases. Deficiency diseases. These diseases are caused by deficiency of one or more nutrients. Okay, kwashiorkor, marasmus, scurvy, rickets, etc. are the examples of deficiency diseases. Allergies, these are caused due to hypersensitivity of the body to any foreign substance like dust, pollen, etc. Hay fever, asthma are the example of allergic diseases. Cancer, it has been caused by uncontrolled division of cell in any part of the body to form mass of cells called tumor. There are several causes of cancer like lung cancer due to smoking of tobacco, mouth cancer due to chewing of tobacco, skin cancer due to exposure to UV rays. Addiction, these diseases are caused due to drug abuse, alcohol and tobacco. And mental disorder, they can be related to depression, anxiety, mental disability, neurosis, psychosis. Okay. Now, mental disorder also leads to schizophrenia, which is a disease that affects a person's ability to think, feel, and behave clearly. Okay. So now let's focus into another topic which deals with the concept of immunology. Various microscopic organisms and their secreted toxic products called antigens on entering the body produce different diseases. These microscopic organisms are called microbes or germs. The microbes enter the body through inspired air, drinking water and food, etc. Our body has the ability to defend against the infection of the germs in various ways. The body also reacts to antigen to produce antibodies which neutralize the antigens. Thus, the body can protect disease in various ways. The immune system is a system of biological structure and processes within an organism that protects against disease. To function properly, an immune system must detect a wide variety of agents known as pathogens, from viruses to parasitic worms, and distinguish them from the organism's own healthy tissue. In many species, the immune system can be classified into subsystems such as the innate immune system versus the adaptive immune system or humoral immunity and cell-mediated immunity. Antigen. Now these are foreign substances which on entering the body stimulate the formation of antibodies and react with them. Chemically, antigens are nucleoprotein, lipoprotein, glycoprotein or large polysaccharides. The microbes or the parts of their body like capsule, flagella and cell wall also act as antigen. An antigen may be foreign substance from the environment such as chemicals, bacteria, viruses or pollen. An antigen may also be formed inside the body as with bacterial toxins or tissue cells. Antigen can be classified into following types like exogenous antigen. Exogenous antigens are antigens that have entered the body from the outside, for example by ingestion or injection. The immune system's response to exogenous antigens is often subclinical. By phagocytosis, exogenous antigens are taken into the antigen presenting cells and processed into fragments. Endogenous antigen. Endogenous antigens are antigens that have been generated within previously normal cells as a result of normal cell metabolism or because of viral or intracellular bacterial infection. Endogenous antigens include xenogenic, autologous and idiotypic or allogenic antigens. Tumor antigens. Tumor antigens are those antigens that are presented by major histocompatibility 1 or major histocompatibility complex 2. So the complex name is major histocompatibility complex 1 or major histocompatibility complex 2. Okay, so these are the molecules on the surface of tumor cells. Now these antigen can sometimes be presented by tumor cells and never by the normal ones. In this case, they are called tumor-specific antigens and in general results from a tumor-specific mutation. So what are the general properties of antigen? The general properties of antigen are like the chemical nature. The antigens are proteinaceous in nature, but some antigens have polysaccharide and lipoprotein. Molecular weight. The molecular weight of antigens are more than 10,000 Dalton. The molecular weight of an ideal antigen is approximately 1 lakh Dalton. Now, species specificity. In the same species, the specific antigen present in the tissue of all animal species. Organ specificity. In the particular tissue or organ, a specific antigen is found to be present. Antibody. Antibodies are proteins which are formed by the influence of antigens in the body. The antibodies react with antigen to neutralize their effects. Antibodies are formed from gamma globulin protein and called immunoglobulin. So now let's focus on structure of antibody. Generally, each antibody is made of two pairs of polysaccharides. That's why it's been named as tetrapeptide chain. The two chains in each pair are similar. In one pair, each chain is made of 400 amino acid and are called heavy chain, and in other pair each chain is made up of 200 amino acid and is called light chain. Okay, the antibody has two similar half parts. Each half part is made of one heavy and one light chain. It's been given in the picture, we can follow the picture. Okay, and this has been connected by disulfide bond. Okay, the shape of antibody molecule is more or less like Y, but sometimes it is like T. Yes, in antibody, each polypeptide chain has one amino end and one carboxyl end. The part of the chain with amino end is called variable or V area. It is the antigen binding site which is different in different antibodies, and the part of the chain with carboxyl end is called constant or C area. It is equal in all the antibodies of the same class. The C area is responsible for the difference of the type of antigen and antibody reaction. So in IgG, and the V area has two binding sites and C area has only one binding site. Now between the first and second C areas of the two heavy chains of antibody, there is a hinge area. This area responds to enzyme and chemical reactions. The part of the antibody which unites with the antigen is called paratope, and the part of the antigen which unites with the paratope is called epitope. So according to the structure of heavy chain and constant area of the antibody or immunoglobulin, it is of 5 classes. Okay, so 5 classes, the names are IgG, Ig capital M, Ig capital A, Ig capital D, Ig capital E. Okay, now let me tell you the weight of the chain. Like as I told you, in one pair each chain is basically made up of 400 amino acid and is called heavy chain. So the weight of that heavy chain is nearly about 53 to 75 kilodalton, and in other pair the chain which is made up of 200 amino acid, it is called light chain, and which is also generally weigh about 23 kilodalton. Okay, now let's focus into another topic which deals with the concept of antibody and antigen reaction. So the first term which you need to know is agglutination. So what is agglutination? The antibodies react with germs with more than one antigen and assemble them. This process is called agglutination. The antibody which helps in agglutination is called agglutinin. Then comes your precipitation. The antibody reacts with antigen and the product is precipitated. The antibody which precipitates the antigen is called precipitin. Then comes your neutralization. The antibody covers the toxic site of the germ to mask its effect. Okay, so this is called neutralization. Lysis, some powerful antibodies directly attack the membrane of the germ and thus destroys it. In addition, other substances are also present in blood and body which is also responsible for destroying germs. Like enzymes, lysozyme present in tears and saliva kills bacteria. Acid, HCl of gastric juice just destroys germs engulfed with foods. Properdin, a large protein molecule which reacts with gram-negative bacteria and destroys it. Then comes your basic polypeptide. This react with some gram-positive bacteria to inactivate and destroy it. Like IgG, its antibodies, IgG antibodies in particularly functions as absonins and IgG and IgM antibodies may function as license in promoting the rupture cytolysis of antigen-bearing cells through complement fixation. Okay, so now let's focus into another topic which deals with the concept of immunity. The resistance power of the body to defend against the infection of germs to prevent the onset of disease is called immunity. Immunity is mainly of two types, innate or inherited and acquired. What is innate immunity? This immunity is also called natural or native immunity, which is present from birth by virtue of genetic constitutional makeup. It is there in the body without any external stimulation or a previous infection from outside. Now it is of two types, specific innate immunity and non-specific innate immunity. Now specific innate immunity is the immunity of some races against a particular disease. For example, human beings never suffer from cowpox. And non-specific innate immunity, it is the immunity which can protect commonly all types of disease naturally without previous relation with the foreign germs. Like I'll tell you the example, neutrophil, monocyte and macrophages cells present in blood from birth can destroy any germ that enter in the body by phagocytosis. Non-specific immunity basically constitute the first line of defense. It acts along four types of barrier. Okay, so it's going to act along with the barriers. The name is physical, physiological, cellular and cytokine interferon barriers. Physical barriers. They prevent the entry of any foreign substance inside the body. Most important among these are the skin and mucous membrane. Skin, it, as you all know, it's a tough and acts as a barrier to any kind of virus and bacteria. Mucous membrane, it basically traps the microorganism and dust particles which may have entered the body through the respiratory tract. Physiological barriers. What are the physiological barriers? Like pH of some body fluids, several secretions and temperature of the body also contribute in protection of the body against diseases. The main physiological barriers are acid, like the extremely acidic nature of gastric juice which kills most of the microbes ingested with food. Then earwax, or the other term is cerumen. It generally traps and prevents entrance of dust, bacteria and even insects. Lysozyme, which is also present in most of the tissue fluids of our body including tears from eyes and saliva. It has the ability to attack and dissolve the cell walls of bacteria. Rise in temperature. The rise in temperature of a body or fever in case of any kind of infection is actually a defense mechanism which speeds up all the physiological process and thus kills the pathogen. Now there are different cellular barriers. The cellular components of the immune system like white blood cells or leukocytes, neutrophils and monocytes, lymphocytes, mainly natural killer cells and macrophages, phagocytose or engulf the microbes or cellular remains. Okay, then comes your cytokine. A viral infected cell has a mechanism where they secrete some special class of proteins which can protect the neighboring cell from being infected by the virus further. Now these are mainly the interferons. So interferons is basically a low molecular weight dimeric glucoprotein which has been formed in the host cell due to attack of virus. This protein prevents further the attack of virus. Okay, now there are different families of this interferon like interferon alpha, interferon beta, interferon gamma. Okay, so these are the different families of the interferons alpha, beta, gamma, which all prevents further attack of the virus. Okay, now these have been synthesized by leukocytes, fibroblasts and lymphocytes respectively. Acquired immunity. What do you mean by acquired immunity? The immunity which has been formed after birth due to infection of germs generally or artificially. Okay, it's been formed after the infection of germs naturally or artificially or by the administration of prepared antibody from outside in the body. This type of immunity is only termed as acquired during one's lifetime. It can also be termed as specific immunity. What are the properties? There are different properties like specificity. It is the property by virtue of which the immune system can recognize the foreign particle or the substance. Okay, diversity. This property also helps the immune system to act against a vast range of antigens. Discrimination between self and non-self. Due to this, the system can recognize and act against foreign substance but avoid acting against any normal components within the body. Memory. The immune system has the capability to produce specialized cells which gets generated on exposure to a specific antigen, and it's retained in the body so that any further encounter with the same antigen activates a stronger response and eliminates it. Acquired immunity is basically of two types: active acquired immunity and passive acquired immunity. Now, active acquired immunity, this immunity develops by forming antibodies in the own blood of a person. It may be natural and artificial. Like natural active acquired immunity, the immunity which develops by forming antibodies in the blood of a person for a particular disease by natural infection of the germ of that disease in that person. Like antibodies which is formed in the blood of a person after one infection of measles can prevent further infection of measles in that person in future. Okay, then comes your artificial active acquired immunity. This immunity develops by forming antibodies in the blood of a person for a particular disease by artificial administration of sterile germ or antigen of that disease in that person. For example, antibodies formed in the blood of a person by pox vaccine prevent the infection of pox in that person in future. Then comes your passive acquired immunity. This immunity is formed in one's body by direct supply of prepared antibodies from others' blood. It is also of two types, natural and artificial. Natural passive acquired immunity is the immunity which is seen in newborn baby by receiving prepared antibodies from mother's blood naturally through placenta or from mother's milk. Okay, like immunity of newborn baby against measles. An artificial passive acquired immunity is the immunity which is developed in one's body by artificial administration of prepared antibodies from others' blood, like immunity against tetanus disease, okay, by anti-tetanus serum injection. Then comes your humoral and cellular immunity. Humoral immunity is the immunity which has been formed by B lymphocyte cells of blood against virus and bacteria. B lymphocyte in contact with antigen is converted to plasma cell and memory cell. Now, plasma cell forms antibody immunoglobulin which acts in various ways. It acts as precipitin to precipitate the antigens. It secretes antitoxin which neutralizes the toxin secreted by the antigen. It helps the macrophage cells to kill the germs by phagocytosis. Okay. Memory B cells are those B cells which gets activated but remain undifferentiated and did not produce antibodies. They remain dormant for a long time until the body gets exposed to that same antigen again. Cellular immunity, the immunity which has been formed by T lymphocyte cell. T lymphocytes are of three types: helper T cell, suppressor T cell and killer T cells. Now, helper T cell is of two types: T helper 1 also represented as Th1, T helper 2 represented as Th2. The antigen after entering into the body unites with the receptor of T cell. As a result, the T cell is being converted to helper T cell which secretes lymphokine. Lymphokine stimulates the B lymphocyte to produce antibody. Suppressor T cell, this cell controls the attack and counter attack of the own cells in animal. That means the cell prevents the reaction of own antigen and antibody in the same animal, like AIDS in patient. Okay, suppressor T cell counts rise abnormally. Then comes your killer T cells. Now, this cell is able to attack directly against germs. In this process, the receptor protein on the surface of killer T cells rapidly attacks the germs and destroys it. In addition, the killer T cell creates hole in the membrane of the attacked germ cell. Then it secretes toxin in the germ cells and generally destroys it. The killer T cell can destroy cancer cell, transplant cell and other cells of the body. Okay. Now let's move into the next topic, which deals with the concept of allergies. The hypersensitive response of the immune system of a person after being exposed to any foreign substance is called allergy. The allergens, that is the substance that cause the allergic reaction, may be dust, spores, pollen, item of personal care, fur, feathers, food, sunlight, etc. Symptoms vary a lot among the individual, but most common are like running eyes and nose, reddened eyes, redness in skin with itching blisters. Okay, then eczema, which is an inflammation of the skin. Okay, asthma, which affects breathing severely. Okay, so what are the causes of this? Causes can be your allergens mostly induce the production of antibody like IgE and histamine. This causes dilation of blood vessels and capillaries, which leads to leaking of fluid into the tissues. In case of severe reaction, the blood pressure falls so drastically that patient may become unconscious and even die. This condition is only termed as anaphylactic shock. Now it has also been pronounced as anaphylactic shock. Okay, so what is the prevention? The use of drugs, mainly antihistamine, steroids and adrenaline, reduce the allergic symptoms. Autoimmunity, what do you mean by the term autoimmunity? It is a condition where the immunologically active cells or antibodies fail to differentiate between self and non-self cells and attacks normal constituent of the body. The immune system, instead of protecting the body, behaves against the body and causes many diseases like rheumatoid arthritis, insulin dependent diabetes, chronic hepatitis, etc. The reason behind such a disorder is still unknown, but mostly it is seen that genetic disorders produce such an effect. Okay, now let's move into the next topic, which deals with the concept of vaccine. In order to develop protection against pathogenic organism, the component that is used to induce antibody production against the pathogenic organism in the body is only termed as vaccine. The British physician Edward Jenner in 1798 first discovered vaccine for smallpox. Vaccination is the process of development of immunization against a specific disease by inoculation of vaccines. Thus, vaccines are preparations or suspensions or extracts of dead or attenuated, which means weak, pathogens which upon inoculation into a healthy person provides temporary or permanent active or passive immunity by inducing antibody formation. Like there are some common vaccine like OPV, oral polio vaccine, typhoid vaccine, MMR. Okay, then comes your DPT vaccine for protection against diphtheria, tetanus, BCG vaccine against tuberculosis. Okay, now there are different types of vaccines. Vaccines can be classified on the basis of their source. They therefore have been classified into 5 types, like live vaccine or attenuated vaccines. When live pathogens are weakened or attenuated to make them non-virulent and are then used as vaccines, such vaccines are only termed as live vaccines, like smallpox, BCG, which stands for Bacillus calmette guerin, then yellow fever vaccine. Such vaccines can provide immunity throughout the life. Then comes your killed or inactivated vaccine. Such vaccine constitute killed pathogens like cholera vaccine, rabies vaccine, typhoid vaccine. Toxoids, toxin produced by pathogens such as diphtheria and tetanus, are detoxicated and vaccines are prepared with those. Such vaccines provide passive immunity for a short duration of time. Like example is your diphtheria toxoid, tetanus toxoid. Cellular fraction, polysaccharides are the important constituents of cell wall and capsule of different pathogens. There are 2 competent antigens to induce production of antibodies against them, so they are used for preparation of vaccine. Then comes your like your example is your meningococcal vaccine, pneumococcal vaccine. Okay, combinations, if a vaccine is prepared by mixing all the above mentioned components, they are called combination vaccine, like your DPT. So the vaccine which is used for diphtheria, tetanus, pertussis, the full form is diphtheria, tetanus, pertussis vaccine. So this is the name. Then comes your MMR, which stands for measles, mumps, rubella. Okay, now let me tell you, for injecting a vaccine it should be seen that what is the age, like what is the category, whether it's a pregnant woman, whether it's an infant, whether it's a children, what is their age. So depending on these 2 conditions and what the dosage should be given for each and every person, like for pregnant women, for infants and children, they are going to differ. It's not going to be the same. So that's why age is a very important and factor which should be known. So now let's concentrate on a very important topic which deals with the concept of HIV and AIDS. Now the full form of HIV is human immunodeficiency virus, and the full form of AIDS is acute immunodeficiency syndrome. So it is a life-threatening disease due to HIV, which is known as human immunodeficiency virus. Now HIV was being discovered by Luc Montagnier of France in 1983 and Robert Gallo of America in 1984. It is an RNA virus of subgroup lentivirus of group retrovirus. Now HIV generally contains reverse transcriptase enzyme which forms DNA from RNA. AIDS was first identified in America, and since then it is recognized as second life-threatening disease in the world. According to statistics of World Health Organization in 2000, about 36 million of human beings are attacked by AIDS in the whole world. AIDS is more in African countries. In West Bengal, AIDS was identified in 1986. Statistics shows that young boys and girls are attacked more in AIDS, nearly in equal proportion. Homosexual males and commercial sex workers are also attacked more. So what is the mode of transmission or infection of HIV? Through sexual contact, transfusion of HIV blood, use of same injection syringe for different person without sterilization, from suffering mother to the embryo through placenta, artificial insemination in the uterus, from suffering mother's milk to baby, use of same blade or razor in saloon for different person, transplantation of tissue from one to another person. What are the symptoms of AIDS? The symptoms are being expressed in three different stages. Like the primary or acute stage, what are the symptoms? It generally starts from 3 to 4 weeks of infection and lasts for about 2 weeks. The symptoms are like fever, fatigue, ulcer in throat, combined lymph that is known as lymphadenopathy, another term, rash at trunk, palm and sole, low WBC count in blood, appearance of HIV antibody after 3 to 4 weeks of infection. Then comes your middle or latent stage. It may last for a long time. The symptoms are like patients are asymptomatic with absence or presence of less virus in blood. HIV is formed in lymph nodes. AIDS-related complex has been seen, continuous fever with fatigue, loss of body weight with lymphadenopathy. Late immunodeficiency stage, the symptoms are like reduction of CD4 cells. Okay, it's like 400 per micrometer. Pneumocytosis, Carini pneumonia disease. It has been termed in abbreviated form as PCP, which is an opportunistic infection that occurs in immunosuppressed population, primarily patients with advanced human immunodeficiency virus infection. Okay. It is also termed as pneumocystis carinii pneumonia. Then followed by Kaposi sarcoma, isolated cerebral lymphoma, candidiasis, that is injury at mouth, pharynx and esophagus. Okay, so how this can be diagnosed? Presence of HIV antibody in blood can be identified by screening test. This is generally done by ELISA, that is enzyme linked immunosorbent assay, and Western blot test. Okay, so these are the two methods which can be used for diagnosis of AIDS. Now how this can be prevented? Like prevention of transmission through sexual connection. The male should use condom during sexual intercourse. It is better to avoid sexual contact with commercial sex workers. Prevention of bloodborne diseases. The presence of HIV antibody in the blood of a blood bank should be tested before use. Transfusion of HIV positive blood must be avoided. The same syringe should not be used to collect blood from more than one person. Precautions of health workers and surgeons, like the health workers should use gloves in hands to work with blood, other body fluids, semen, etc. in the laboratory. The surgeon should always use gloves in hand. The knife, scissors, blade, etc. instruments must be sterilized before operation. Now, public education. The public should be made aware about the mode of transmission of AIDS and its bad effects. The public should uplift their living standard to avoid AIDS. Vaccine. No vaccine has yet been discovered to prevent AIDS. this is the saddest part, and this is the saddest truth. Medicine, the first medicine to control AIDS, it's zidovudin. Okay, this medicine has been effective to neutralize the symptoms of AIDS and to reduce the rate of death. The medicine in the next stages are lamivudin, then did anosin, okay, then zalcitabine, okay, stavudin, then avacavir. Each of this medicine competes with a natural nucleoside. Now let's move into the next topic, which deals with the drug and alcohol abuse. First, I'm going to explain you what is drug addiction. Now, adolescence is a period of rapid growth along with physical, mental and behavioral developments, demonstrating departure of childhood and arrival of adulthood. Now, it has been characterized by onset of puberty to complete sexual maturity. Adolescence is marked by the physical growth, development of reproductive organs and changes in functioning of the neuroendocrine system. Sometimes inquisitiveness, desire for experimentation motivate adolescent boys and girls towards drug and alcohol use. So they want to establish a mark amongst friends and different forums of media, peer pressure, depression, uncertain future, frustration. All these factors generally aggregate together to promote drug and alcohol abuse. So what is drug addiction? The World Health Organization has given a definition of drug. As per this, the definition, the drug is a substance that when taken into living organism may modify one or more of its function. Drug in general term is known as narcotic when instead of treatment of a disease, drug is taken in excessive doses and in repeated frequency. It is known as drug abuse. From drug abuse, addiction to drug develops and then a man cannot give up drug. Not only that, in many cases, if drug is not taken, a man faces many difficulties. On this background, there is a definition of drug addiction. Drug addiction or drug dependence refers to a situation which develops due to regular or continuous intake of drug when a mental and physical relation of man is developed with the drug, and without taking the substance a man faces with various difficulties. Okay, several important drugs which are very much associated with addiction include morphine and related products, okay, pethidine, heroin, alcohol, barbiturate, cocaine, marijuana, LSD, then benzodiazepine, okay, then comes your dextropropoxyphene, amphetamine, okay. Among these, heroin is the most dangerous one. Now, drugs have an influence on mind which may be classified as sedative, okay, which is barbiturate, tranquilizer, that is wine and valium, then stimulant, amphetamines or cocaine, opiate, heroin, morphine, pethidine, methadone, okay, and hallucinogen, that is bhang, gaja, marijuana, okay. There are different ways of development of drug addiction. Curiosity. Sometimes due to sheer curiosity, an individual may take the drug for tasting and this may lead to drug addiction. Company. If one person mixes up with individuals of bad company such as drug addicts, he may develop addiction on drug. Depression. Sometimes from depression, drug addiction develops and that removes mental pressure and anxiety. Okay, so individual may take drug and eventually that becomes his companion. Okay, among the school and college going children, drug addiction develops in this way. Stimulation. Sometimes a man who makes himself more active takes stimulatory drug and eventually a dependence on such drug is developed. Pain reliever. Sometimes to get relief from pain in the body, narcotic drugs are taken like morphine. Consecutive intake of such drug may develop addiction. Due to family history, if the parents are drug addicts, the children may develop drug addiction. Drug addict individuals differ from normal man by many behavioral aspects and the following notable symptoms like loss of weight, swelling and redness of eyes, reluctant to everything, lethargic and inactive, loss of memory and loss of attention, loss of appetite, opaque vision, sleeplessness, frustration linking to solitude, non-serious with loss of personality, okay, disorganized talk, anxiety, excessive sweating. So what is the reasons for development of drug addiction? Though drug addiction develops primarily from the desire of an individual, but secondarily an attraction to drug may also be developed due to social reasons and environmental causes. Okay, several such causes may be like this, okay, which was which I had already discussed. Now, symptoms in drug addicted person, this individual, those are drug addicted, may show abnormal symptoms within 6 to 8 hours of drug withdrawal, and this symptoms may persist for about 10 days. Depending on the nature of drug and its dose, some symptoms may vary. The symptoms are like chillness, or chilliness, whatever you say it, rapid respiration and respiratory trouble, decreased appetite, increased blood pressure, uneasy feeling, dropping down of tears, tremors, insomnia, yawning, dilation of pupil, fever, nervousness. If the drug addicted individual is treated properly, he may be saved from bad effects of drug. The drug addicted person usually should be treated with sympathy. Behavioral treatment. Initially, the drug addicted man is to be isolated from addicted friends. Then it is to be observed that the man should not get the drug, and this is followed by mental treatment. He should be engaged in some works that may keep him away from drug. For recovery of health, he should be provided with nutritious food, and any physical inconvenience is also treated for cure. The drug to which addiction developed, that should not be stopped abruptly, rather its dose is to be reduced gradually. This may reduce the symptoms of drug withdrawal. If sleep is distributed or anxiety is increased, some sedatives or tranquilizing agents may be applied. So how you will be taking the control of drug addiction? So you need to know the control of drug addiction. Addiction to drug is very difficult to control. Sometimes a man, having known the bad effects of drug, cannot give up the drug. To treat the drug addiction, as we have to take the help of physicians, it may also be treated by individual effort. The only need is that the drug addict person should come forward for a treatment of addiction. In medical treatment, the initial step is detoxification, and for this the individual should be admitted to the hospital. However, in most of the cases, drug transaction and consumption occur in confidential manner. In this process, the traders of drug have significant contribution. Beside this, intake of drugs as doses not get a social recognition. Both the drug addicts and traders try to maintain confidentiality in this matter. Because of this, the control of drug in social life has become a great problem. Drug addiction not only develops individual problem, it also tolls up upon the family life with loss of economy, and this is antagonistic to development of the society as well as country. The unscrupulous drug traders achieve gain through drug selling, while the life of a man becomes miserable. This may affect the education of school-going children and also results ultimately death, increasing social crime and economical loss. In considering all these, intakes of drug and its business should come to immediate control. Whatever may be the effort, a successful prevention to this unholy business may be achieved at the social level through intervention of the government at the government level. Social efforts like to find out the drug addict person and provoke them detoxification, to look after the detoxified person after treatment and give them necessary advice, to make arrangements for rehabilitation, and to make an arrangement for the change of environment of the drug addicts. Control by the government to prohibit intake of drug by implementing laws, to formulate laws to control drug production and supply, to educate people about the bad effects of drug addiction through advertisement in different media. It is to be mentioned here that there is a stringent law for control of drug in media. If these laws are implemented properly, the people as well as country may be rescued from all ill effects of drug. Now let's move into alcohol and alcoholism portion. Now, in some countries, though alcohol taking is not taken as a good habit, but in many countries this is a common practice. Even in some countries it has become a social custom. Taking small amount of alcohol is not very harmful, but excessive consumption of alcohol creates harmful influence on the body. From such harmful effects, a man may die at early stage. So alcohol is, what is the nature of alcohol and the Alcohol is colorless and tasteless liquid which is produced from sugar or other such carbohydrate materials through fermentation by yeast or other microorganisms. Chemically, it is known as ethyl alcohol. Diluted ethyl alcohol in different concentration is marketed as wine. Several wine varieties are beer, whiskey, brandy, vodka, gin. Okay, a list of wines containing different concentration of alcohol. Okay, it's been different constituents are being used for preparing the wine. Okay, according to pharmacological term, alcohol is a type of drug and the amount of alcohol taken may give specific term to it, such as sedative, nerve relaxing component and tranquilizing material. After intake of wine, it is absorbed in the body, and within 2 to 3 minutes its presence is observed in the body or in the blood. Okay, however, if other food remains within stomach, it may be absorbed late. The situation developed due to alcohol drinking is known as alcoholism. Now, the nature of alcohol drinking may vary from man to man, and alcoholism may be classified into 5 types, like alpha alcoholism. In this case, to remove mental or physical strain, alcohol is taken. Such alcohol intake does not cause imbalance in the individual. Beta alcoholism. In this case, alcohol is taken excessively. Such type of alcohol consumption occurs as per social custom. This usually leads to cirrhosis of liver, gastritis, neuritis. No addiction to alcohol is developed in this alcoholism. Gamma alcoholism. In this case, gradual increase in addiction to alcohol develops and amount of consumption also increases gradually. If alcohol intake is given up, that may develop uneasy feeling. Addiction to alcohol develops by mental level and there remains no control in taking alcohol. Then comes your delta alcoholism. Okay, in this case, control is very much present on alcohol consumption. However, the individual cannot give up alcohol consumption. Non-intake of alcohol results into uneasy condition. Then comes your epsilon alcoholism. In this case, dipsomania is observed and alcohol consumption becomes obligatory. Now, dipsomania is a historical term describing a medical condition which is involved in uncontrollable craving for alcohol. Or it can be said as a strong need to drink alcohol. Okay, so this is one of the symptom, and alcoholism in this case leads to frenetic behavior. In most of the cases, alcoholism comes under either gamma or delta type of alcoholism. Okay, so what are the effects of alcoholism? Alcoholism has a special influence on the central nervous system. Previously, it was thought that alcohol is a type of stimulant, but it has now been realized that this results depression instead of stimulation. At the first stage, intake of alcohol may remain within a limit, but gradually addiction develops to more amount of alcohol. Ultimately, a physical dependence on alcohol is also developed. Presently, alcoholism is considered as a disease and alcohol is considered as health deteriorating component. Severe alcohol addiction appears as the effect of drug, and in extreme cases this develops liver cirrhosis, psychosis, gastritis, pancreatitis, cardiomyopathy and neuropathy, etc. It is presumed that alcohol has a relation with cancer in mouth, pharynx, larynx and esophagus. So what are the other effects like hypoglycemia, ketoacidosis, malnutrition, pellagra and heart beriberi, sexual impotence, immunity disorder, anemia, thrombocytopenia. Okay, so how can alcohol addiction be treated? So the individual who takes alcohol every day develops addiction to alcohol. Sudden cessation of alcohol intake results into alcohol syndrome. A man exhibits irritating mood, sleeplessness, anxiety, weakness, vomiting tendency, etc. To remove these symptoms, a physician may be consulted. Treatment of such symptoms with medicine is known as detoxification. Following this, some mental and behavioral treatments may also be given for good results. Today it will be this much. So now it's your responsibility to go through this entire presentation, follow all the instructions that are given in the presentation and make sure whatever that was discussed in class is absolutely clear. If you have any doubts or queries, by now you know my mail ID. If you have any problem, you can send me your doubt or query in that given mail ID. So thank you and have